Hello, and welcome to World History Since 1500. My name is Nick Tipton, and I will be your guide through this course. I received both my bachelor's and master's degree from Grand Canyon University, which is located in Phoenix, Arizona. I love history, and I love discussing it. History is a story of mankind, and a story that is ever changing and ever connected. I look forward to exploring this exciting topic with you, and I look forward to growing and learning together. The purpose of this video is to outline my plan for effective communication during this class. We will be discussing 3 strategies that I will use to communicate effectively. We will look at some challenges to communication that arise in higher learning atmospheres, and we will look at some of the ways to overcome those challenges. We will also discuss 2 strategies for de-escalation when a disagreement arises between a teacher and a student or 2 students. Finally, we will look at how effective communication helps promote a positive learning environment and student success. The first effective communication strategy I want to discuss is how to adjust to your audience. Depending on who you're speaking with, you can adjust how you speak to better communicate with that individual or that group. In fact, your speech, tone, style, body language, and presentation format might be variably successful with different people. It is also important to remember that what works with one group might not work with another. As Dr. Perlmutter once said, it's good to speak to farmer and lawyer to lawyer. Another effective communication strategy is to remember less is more. When teaching an online class or communicating online, there is no real need to communicate with entire paragraphs or an essay format. Online students are bombarded with communications that are usually in text form. The last thing they need is another long message from their instructor. It is important to remember to keep the information short and concise. The third strategy is listen as well as you speak. Many instructors assume that responding quickly shows that we're being attentive. Instead, a student might see that as being interrupted or not actually being listened to. While the instructor may have good motives, sometimes that can come across wrong. So when you're in my classroom, I can guarantee you that I will hear you out. Even if it doesn't end the way you wanted it to, you will be listened to. Now, there are some challenges to communicating in higher learning atmospheres. The first can be a fear of communicating. Some students can feel intimidated by their instructors, which means they might not ask the questions they really need to. I want everyone in this class to know that if you have a question, a comment, or a concern, I am available and I am ready to listen to you. I cannot guarantee that you will get the outcome that you desired, but I can guarantee that you don't need to be afraid to speak to me. We can speak in person, by email, or over the phone, whatever you need to do to get your questions answered. Another problem with communicating in a higher learning atmosphere is the unfamiliarity with your surroundings and with your peers. When students go to college, they are often thrust into unfamiliar place with unfamiliar people. That is why it is very difficult for some students to speak up during class. They are worried about making a bad impression or being seen as stupid. One good way to get over this phase is icebreakers. Yes, they can be silly, they can be awkward, but they can be effective. Honestly, when students have the chance to bond over that silliness, over that awkwardness, and they get to know a few other students and connect with them at a personal level, it can make the classroom feel a lot more like home, or at least a little less uncomfortable. Now, de-escalating interpersonal conflicts. In my class, I love to have discussions. I promote them, and I want everybody to be involved in them. But that can mean that people can get in arguments. One of the ways to get over this is to take a time out. When things become heated, sometimes words can only inflame the situation further. So it's a good idea to take a pause, take a break. Maybe that means leaving the conversation for another day, or maybe it means just excusing yourself so you can go use the restroom. Take a few moments to cool out. Remain calm. Too often people communicate with their emotions. The first thing that flies in our head, that's what we shoot out to people, and that can get us in trouble, or we can say something we regret. Now, A good way to do that is when you hear something and your first emotion is anger. Take a few beats, calm down, and respond with logic, not emotion. Finally, I want to talk about how effective communication can support student success. The purpose of school at any level is to prepare students for the real world. When a student goes out to look for a job, they will likely be asked, how are your communication skills? If a class is based around a lecture and students are just sitting there listening and not learning to communicate as well as the material, then that class is a disservice to that student. That is why it's important for students in this class to ask questions, pose comments. Whatever it is that you need to say it. Just make sure that we all stay respectful and that we keep calm in this environment, because that is the mark of true education. Thank you, and I look forward to learning with you.